Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for August 7th through 14th, 2023. Wow, what intense times we're living in with just coming off of this Pluto square the nodes. So Pluto was exactly square the nodes through the 14th or the 4th of August. Now we'll continue to be within 1 degree of square with the nodes through August 17th. So we're still in it, and yet we are a lot of times with these bigger bigger planets, the background planets, Pluto, small planet, big energy. The transit happens, but we don't really feel the effect of the transit and for months and years after. So we're in a very strange time where we've had this impulse and energy come in, and now what do we do with it? And the stars, the planets are speaking to us about this. So, what we're feeling today is the sun in Leo, in exact square to Jupiter in Taurus. And this is kind of one of the hallmark energies of the Venus retrograde, although the square with Jupiter happened before she went into retrograde shadow and will happen again just as she's turning direct. So the sun square Jupiter is speaking to all the issues of the current astrology and all the messages. And Jupiter in Taurus is an expansive energy wanting to expand in Taurus into wealth, into worth, into resources, inner and outer resources. The sun is ultimately representing who we really are in our actual resource. And this is what this astrology is all about. It's like a Leo explosion, showing us the true ramifications of who we are as advanced souls and human body at this time on Earth. Supernovas, let's go. So Jupiter says, what's keeping you from expanding into the wealth that you are, right? And we're starting to figure this out. So the hallmark energy of the Venus retrograde has to do with Venus coming up with 3 conjunctions to Black Moon Lilith in Leo and 3 squares with Uranus in Taurus. Venus made the conjunction with Black Moon Lilith square with Uranus uh, before she turned retrograde. Now that she's retrograde, she's coming into her second experience of this. This one's really intense because in the first time they weren't very close and square. But we've been feeling Black Moon Lilith in Leo and square to Uranus and Taurus since the beginning of June. And it's just now come off, but we'll feel it into the beginning of September. And now, so Venus meeting back up with Black Moon Lilith, square Uranus, they're just 1 degree apart. And so now we are getting to the nitty gritty and understanding what this incredibly dynamic astrology is all about. Venus going back into the dungeon, she's going back down into the catacombs, into this like narrow staircase down into the scariest places. That's Black Moon Lilith. In Leo, the deepest, scariest hidden places around our expression of our God light, the feminine expression of God light. She's been pretty much trapped in those catacombs on some level for thousands of years. And she's going back to save herself. She's going back to put herself back into pieces, or back together, her pieces back together. Ooh, and so we're really going to be feeling this because it is in the next couple days, the 8th, 9th, that Venus will be coming into that exact conjunction with Black Moon Lilith, and the exact square with Uranus will happen on the 10th of August. And we'll feel that through the 15th, which the new moon in Leo is on the 16th of August. So this energy of Venus in her second experience, now retrograde, of conjunction to Black Moon Lilith square Uranus is leading us up to the Leo new moon. So it's telling us this Leo new moon is very powerful and potent. It's on the 16th of August, but very early in the morning in the West and the US. And so the activation will be on the 15th of August. So let's kind of look at this because it's this next week and then that week following the new moon that so much is happening with triggering this core energy of this Venus retrograde. So, Venus coming back to Black Moon Lilith, and let's talk about this because Black Moon Lilith, those deepest, darkest secrets around the expression of the light that we are in feminine energy, square up with Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus and Taurus is, of course, Taurus, again, we're talking about wealth and worth and self confidence, resources. Uranus is higher frequency vibration. Uranus is our connection to the truth of who we are, our higher self. It's our ancient past and future technology all rolled into one. Our ability to access the greater levels of consciousness that we've already experienced. And so in Taurus, we're talking about our self-worth for these higher frequency vibrations and technology, actual technology. And in Taurus also is about embodiment. So permission to embody these higher frequency vibrations. And it's exactly why Venus needs to go to the underworld to retrieve herself, her true self, her God self. It's speaking to the uncorruptible nature of our pure human soul, as especially as advanced initiate souls, supernovas, that's us. This who we've been, what we've gone through and who we've been, they're our memories that have been kept from us. And we are reclaiming them back. That's why she's going to the underworld. And it's a very interesting dynamic that's coming forward as she goes into the depths. It's like she's cloaked, she's hidden, she's internal. It's Venus retrograde, just brings up our deepest insecurities. It's just a feeling of wanting to hide and just not have any interaction and this feeling. But the energy of this is this going into the catacombs, going into the tombs, going into the temple, going to the pyramids, going into this sacred space of the ancient master builder race that we were a part of. And that energy of all these ancient sites across the whole world that have been buried and hidden, but are still here, this grid, this ascension grid of Mother Earth, that we were a part of building. And it's that feeling of the temple or the pyramid where at a certain time exactly when the sun hits that equinox or solstice or whatever in the moment and the lining up and the sun comes through into the darkness, into the heart, into the light, going into the darkness to find the light that we really are. So it's kind of an interesting energy because we have done so much shadow work, right? It's like Venus is going down into these catacombs, but the picture is kind of that, yes, it's scary, yes, it's dark, yes, it's like, oh, I have to be here again. How long do I need to be in this place of like going to battle demons for humanity, right? And yet then when it's revealed, right, like when the veil or whatever's hidden is then shown, it's not so scary after all. Because it was only scary because it was hidden. And the light, the truth that are in those documents, in those scrolls, and what's been buried in the past, that's going to bring the light of dawn, the dawn of a new day. We're discovering these things through our own Akashic record, through our memories, through our reclaiming our memory. We've been massively messed with over this whole evolution, but in current times, you would not even believe the way that we've been infiltrated and with technological energies enabling us to be a part and to transfer information and data through our own body and be a part of a cloud. Now we turn their technology that was our technology that was misused, and then we were blamed, right? We've been buried under the rubble of shame on a soul level. This is what all of this Taurus energy is really about. We're looking in Black Moon Lilith and Leo, a deep, deep shame over the light that we are. And why don't you think you deserve it? And when are you going to be good enough? We just beat ourselves up with this energy of supernova souls like, I didn't do it right. I got to work harder. I got to meditate more. I got to da 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 da. All that you have done to accomplish what you need to do in this evolution, you did in past lives. Not that what you're doing now isn't important. It's very, very important, but we have to understand that the groundwork has been laid. And all we need to do is to tap into that truth and those resources and that information to set ourselves free and humanity free this time. So the Uranus and Taurus, Jupiter and Taurus is this deep and profound self-worth, these issues coming up. We've been trying to work with this and kind of going back to it. We always kind of end up back at Atlantean time, talking about the catastrophes and this technology that is available today. We've already worked with in past lives. We probably work with in secret programs that we're not even aware of because they've stolen all our memories. And as long as we don't know about this technology in our consciousness and our current reality, it can be used against us. And it is being used against us. Part of the energy of it is to keep in lower vibrational frequencies with constantly triggering areas of the brain, leading to this battle with demonic forces. This is going on for all of us, but specific souls have been targeted for longer than you realize, lifetimes. And the effect of this is being buried under layers of shame that makes no sense whatsoever. And when you find out the level that you have been infiltrated and violated on a soul spiritual level, on physical level, it's powerful, the truth disclosures of what we're coming to understand, because it lifts all the shame off of us. It has not been a fair game or a fair playing field on any level, you know? And we allowed our power to be hijacked and used against us. Now we take it back. It's that simple. The powers or the energies that have been working against you are no measure to the power that is yours by birthright in your body. Okay. So, how we protect ourselves energetically from these technological violations is through the power. One thing they really don't want us to know, the power of our electromagnetic field. The power of our electromagnetic field is through the connection of life force through our body. This is what was coming through the Edgar Casey readings when this again and again, um, the the concept would come up of the most powerful influence, the most powerful force that is, right? In your life as conscious human being in this world, in this reality, is the human will. And we've been so disconnected from our ability. And this is part of the technological interference to keep us from basically being their puppet, not having any idea, feeling what they want us to feel. As soon as we start to break free, it's like, uh-oh, they're trying to escape the matrix over there, knock them back down into their little hole. And they'll stay down there because they're full of shame and never look up and see that a force that has no power over us we've allowed to keep us down. It's that giant being held down by dental floss, and it's time for the giants to awaken. This is the great awakening. Us remembering who we really are and what we've really done, especially around this technology. So it's very powerful. The astrology is speaking exactly to this and giving us the information that we need to take back our world and take back our power. So our electromagnetic field, our protection, is connected to our life force, our glandular system, our chakra system. And so that's why the glandular system is under such attack, because it's our spiritual centers and our spiritual connection. And what's happened as because we're a part of this cloud, this started this in the 60s, right? This has been going on a long time, before the internet even, right? And so we're in a local area network, kind of like the ice wall, like continued quarantine. And as long as we try to progress spiritually, there will be another quarantine placed until we realize that we have the power. And everything that they're using, everything AI, okay, so here's the mystery of it, right? Because AI mimics life, looks like life, acts like life, it replicates, it grows, but it has no life. Isn't this the quintessential issue of our times? We've been dealing with Facebook. Like everything is fake. Everyone is misrepresenting, and there's no substance to back it up. We're just an empty shell. And this is the energy of Taurus. And the financial shift, the shift of everything in our world coming back to substance. Like now that we're in the apocalypse, which means the revealing, the seeing through the veil, we are not gonna buy your lies and your fake power. So where are they getting their fake power? Power that looks like power, but there's nothing to back it up. Who's the power source? What's the power source? We are. And we're being highly violated by running data through our system, unbeknownst to us. And now we know, and now we take back our power through our electromagnetic field. And it's a powerful picture of the energies of everything that's gone into thwarting our evolution and technologies that are our technologies that we've already worked with in the past. So we have the power to actually turn it around. And through the Wi-Fi, through the cloud, send that bright white light of truth, of that vibrational frequency, of that incorruptible, and just short circuits all of the fucking lies and all of this, the puppets on a string, strings cut. So we are being asked right now in these crucial times to, in every breath, in on all levels of our being, come back to this oneness, come back to, we know that we need to live in the vibration of what it is we want to create. And right now, the picture with this Pluto square the nodes is all these timelines converging and crossing. And so it's a really important time to vibrationally and feel what you feel your anger, feel your frustration, feel your feels, try to notice if it's being triggered artificially or if it's an actual true authentic feeling. Our authentic feelings have a lot of power. And we want to bring all that energy into alignment with the world that we know is possible and what we want to see. And anchor in that in every breath. We have to go 24/7 into this temple right now. A lot of supernova souls have been put in situations or just things happening where you are kind of like, the only way out is breathe your way out of it. And then you find the power of this breath of life that we've been given because of our experiences, because of our quest, because of our loyalty to our true self. We have access to this breath of life, to this God molecule by existing. And so we can breathe this breath of life right here, right now, and feel that universal quality of none of this exists. We are the only thing true in our whole world. Is this how it feels in your little quarantine? There's not actually one real person out there, except maybe a few karmic relationships, right? So we are having the opportunity through these intense times to align with that one truth and that one vision of what we all saw of what's possible for Earth at the very beginning. And just bring our attention, our energy back there, right? And don't let the empowerment happen, but you're in charge. Your will, the most powerful force of the universe. And when you align your will with the divine, nothing can stop you. Nothing can harm you. You know the truth. It's so much more real than all of this fake lies. And that's the whole deal with fake lies in the world we're living in, right? It's pushing us into that corner of the one truth, which is you. So as we live and we breathe and we align, every breath is this precious gift and offering and invitation for everything around us to come into rightness, into alignment. So it's like the activation of these deep Gaia codes within our being. At the same time, we've gotten the message again and again from the very beginning, supernova souls, that we haven't fully incarnated into our body. Was the energies could not quite host us. That means we don't even know who we are. But that who knows, right? It knows all this stuff. And it's landing home. And if we're infiltrated with false circuitry, we're never going to be able to hook back up. And this is our fight for our soul, our autonomy, our sovereignty. It's my body, my energy. Now, this is the energy that's so helpful and powerful right now with the North Node in Aries. It's really giving supernova souls this energy of containment and owning and understanding that we cannot leak out our energy, continue to evolve into the Aquarian age, the age of abundance. How can we be trusted with that level of abundance while we're leaking it out to lower energies and lower forces? So, a lot of what's being revealed right now in this apocalypse is these lower forces and where we've unknowingly been feeding them and conceding and agreeing again and again to a reality that does not fit who we are. And now this changes. Are you feeling that? So know that this time the messages coming through is that we've got a lot of karmic stuff of clearing old contracts, especially power-based control contracts, right? And taking back our autonomy with Pluto square the nodes and Venus going to the underworld, retrieving the light of who she really is and no longer waiting for permission, you know, or invitation to shine it or acceptance. It's just the overflowing cup. And we are that crack in the code, because you can try to bring everybody in to the cloud, into the as a totally controllable human. Um, but it doesn't work if not everybody goes. No wonder you've been under such attack, right? Because you have access to your soul and you made it through the hardest part and you're not giving it up. So the Aries North Node is about containment of that I am. It's about the true, the principle of the spark of creation, that we have access to that God consciousness in its pure, unadulterated form directly within us. And it's also about this Aries is the self. It's about being selfish. And this is kind of where we're at. It's like, whoa, um, everything around you is trying to get into your energy. The more power you get, the more contained you get. It's like, oh, here come the feeders. Yeah. Oh, that's not going to work. We'll send in this one over here and this one over here. And it's like, oh no, I am not falling into those traps because we're getting used to and we're handling and we're enjoying the abundance of our energy more and more, right? And also that clearing of that shame is allowing us to stand up and be God or goddess or king or queen. We really are, and owning our realm and throne as we have worked our asses off to get here, to be able to hold our sovereignty. And now we win and now we celebrate. So this next period of time is very powerful as we lead into the new moon that is next Wednesday, August 16th. The activation will be Tuesday, August 15th. And leading up, what's happening over the next couple of days is Venus is coming into this conjunction with Black Moon Lilith for the second time, and also square with Uranus over these next few days. We'll feel that, like we said, all the way up to that new moon. So Venus coming into this square, because Uranus and Black Moon Lilith have been an exact square. We've been feeling it for the last week and a half, and that's the influence all the way since June through June. And so this has been this kind of underlying energy, right? These like Black Moon Lilith is a mysterious point in space, but Uranus, one of our generational planets. And so it's kind of like something's going on out there, but until our personal planets really interact, then we don't really understand. It doesn't hit home into our everyday life what these transits are about. And this is what's going on because Venus did catch these, not when they were in, square with each other. So, this is this descent because when Venus hit these last time, she was direct, now retrograde. So she's on her descent into that darkness, into that scariness, into that frightening place. And it turns out her greatest fear was just simply the light that she is. So it's very powerful because just as Venus goes through the square, and right after that, Venus will come into a conjunction. The sun is going to catch up with Venus on the 13th, 14th of August. This is very, very powerful because the sun in this is representing our God self, our true God self. It's also a masculine energy. And then and Venus is the feminine. So it's like this conjunction deep in the darkest corners, the recesses, deep in the tomb, deep in the mysteries, deep in the catacombs, they meet, lining up. and that light comes through. And it's like the cosmic blessing back into the heart of the goddess and crack open her again. In the last activation, go check it out if this resonates, but get the replay in the Aquarius full moon. We found an energy of like a parasitic infestation in the heart. And it brought up this thing of we think that the pineal gland is like our highest expression of our spiritual truth, but the last chakra to come online, the message we got is the heart. That's actually where we put it all together and have our come into the cosmic co-creation. And so it's like bringing forward this energy of our whole parasitic reality. And now it's time to remove those parasites and stop feeding the monster and stop feeding the AI. And so the Leo rules the heart, right? So this really is a heart chakra activation. It really is breaking open and it so much about dissolving that shame, right? Because when we feel shame, we can't let the love in. Have you had that where you're like, oh, and now that we realize how incredibly messed with we've been outside of the laws of karma, on levels that we can't even imagine, all that shame lifts, all these stories of us creating the catastrophes, it all lifts. It's clear now. It's clear. It's crystal clear. There's no more facade. We're going to see through all of it. And this is quite an amazing discovery coming to the energy of the South Node in Libra. The South Node Libra is pushing us to clear a lot of contractual arrangements with relationships. We talked a lot about these karmic relationships that have surrounded us over lifetimes. And that these karmic relationships have been designed specifically in their sole purpose to keep you from your sole purpose, to make sure you never are validated or reflected back as who you really are spiritually, so that part of you is completely invalidated, right? And so the South Node in Libra, and especially because of the Pluto square the nodes, we're facing up to the false authorities. And these energies from past relationships are coming to be completely resolved. And for you to get piece, if there's any pieces of you that they have been holding on to, these relationships. Also, it could be people you've never met, explosive past life situations that are allowing you to take back a piece of yourself, and making way for the true healthy relationships with supernova souls it's been quite difficult with being surrounded by karmic based relationships, and so as we clear those contracts and we automatically take back our power, take back any energy we've given to them, to these energies around um, any precedence over our definition of who we really are, right? It's like we're just taking it back. And it's like, it's interesting because it's like a picture of straws, and it's like no straws drawn, no straw games, no holes in my energy field anymore. Take back all the straws. You guys have no access because you misuse it every time. And that means I'm misusing it every time. And no wonder I'm walking around in shame. So we are no longer willing to let our power be used for lower forces, energies on any level. And so this journey to the darkness, and then Venus coming, the sun reaching up to Venus retrograde, and the light coming in. And she's like, oh, it's not so scary what's hidden under here after all. It's actually beautiful picture of this Gaia consciousness, of our original vision of what the earth wants to become. And so it's like that cosmic force coming in and penetrating, the earth, the mother, the cosmic union, the great bridal chamber is this energy of the sun and Venus coming together on the 13th and 14th. And then we move right into the new moon energies. The sun and Venus come together at 20 degrees, which is interesting because it's two holes, right? Two, it's a one and a one. And that's kind of where the messages we've gotten about trying to balance the masculine and feminine. It's not about like 50-50. It's about a hole and a hole. A whole light and a whole light in the darkness. We can't live, you know? Um, so it's all about coming out of duality consciousness and into this oneness. And this is everything you've worked on your whole evolution. It's just wanting to offer an opportunity out of the trap, seeing that there's something bigger and that we're connected. And now we live this truth. Now we stand back up into our spiritual truth of who we really are. We become that high priestess or god goddess that we are, king, queen, just owning our power. So we can't really do that till we take back these pieces of ourselves. And that seems to be what's going on with this whole journey to the underworld. And then as she's going back into retrograde, meeting the sun, and the sun being like, hey girl, get up. Remember who you are. I see who you are. You can't see who you are. And we're talking about the feminine in all of us, right? That insecure part of ourselves that is sensitive, that is emotional, that is empathic and intuitive. It's been cut out, right? Because if we were in touch with our intuitive nature, we could never have allowed ourselves to be hooked up to a cloud. And so now we undo this. And this is what this is all about. So it's very powerful, the sun and Venus coming together, then the Leo new moon. Now get this, for the new moon, the sun and the moon come together the new moon happens at 23 degrees, 17 minutes. So this is like 23. It's like, this is what 2023 is about. And 1 and 7 is 8, which is about transformation. And here's the moment. Here's the moment of transformation. And the sun and the moon at 23 degrees of Leo will be in conjunction to Black Moon Lilith, 1 degree out at 24 degrees Leo. And then 1 degree out of square with Uranus at 22 degrees Taurus. So the sun and the moon smack dab in the middle of this square that is like the defining factor of the transformation that is 2023 and the feminine, taking back her light and her power. So while this is happening, Venus will have gone back, for they met the sun at 20 degrees and then she'll be at 19 degrees in exact trine to Chiron. And the sun is actually making the trine to Chiron on the 12th, leading up to, starting basically this whole thing. And so for the new moon on the 16th, it 15th, 16th, it is um, an absolute activation of this deepest, darkest depths to retrieve the light in square to Uranus, higher frequency vibration, the ruler of Aquarius, our connection to our higher self, to our ancient wisdom, our future technology, and our permission to embody. And so this Leo new moon is like, can you face the darkness around how light you are? And do you deserve it? Can you handle it? Who told you you didn't? Shame told you. False God, the false power. And now we're like, wait a minute, false power had to have its power from somewhere. And it's our power. It was ours all along. And it's glorious. So we stand up and we take it back. So that new moon exactly triggering that square with Black Moon Lilith and Uranus, and at the same time, the sweet trine of um, Venus in trine to Chiron and Aries. So Chiron is the deepest wounds around where we've given our life force away. And this is harmonized. So it's like Venus, hook into the creativity, girl. You got it. You got the God power, everything we've been trying to get from the man right here. And all those false religious leaders using the teachings of the feminine with emptiness behind it. Fake, fake, fake. No wonder we feel so empty inside. We've had thousands of years of fakery, and that's enough. Now we see through it. So after the new moon, the sun will come up into a square with Uranus in conjunction with Black Moon Lilith. So we've got Venus triggering, then the new moon, and then the sun will have its exact conjunction in the next days after. So incredibly powerful. And that means the moon will go over Venus just before the new moon. and making it a very powerful time. Then the sun will, complete those transits, and that takes us up until like the 20th, 21st of August will be, this is kind of like our 2 week period of time leading to that new moon the week before, the week after, where we're in the crux of it, right? We still got Pluto 1 degree into square of the nodes, Venus going deep into retrograde with her second conjunction and square with Uranus, the sun coming in at the same time. The sun coming in, the light coming in, let the light shine in. And that is how we get to the Aquarian age. And so we're figuring all of this out. So keep in mind that the timeline on this, we've had this big adjustment, this big something, but with these big squares, it takes a while for that energy to show itself, to what is this really about, to unfold. And that's what this next couple of months is about as the retrogrades resolve. And so just keep in mind that timeline where Mercury turns retrograde on the 24th of August, but already in shadow. So we're already feeling that. And that retrograde, Mercury retrograde in Virgo, happens between 8 degrees Virgo and 21 degrees Virgo. So if in your chart you've got mutable things and mutable signs between 8 and 21 degrees, they're really getting triggered with the Mercury retrograde 3 passes over. So it's about cleaning up and organizing and sorting out those things in your life. Then the Venus retrograde happens in Leo, and that's a fixed sign. And so the Venus retrograde happens from 12 degrees to 28 degrees. So those degrees of the fixed signs, if you've got things there, you're really getting triggered with the Venus retrograde. We all are, really, right? So it's just important to know these. Mercury will turn direct on the 16th of September. Venus turns direct on the 4th of September. Mercury will come out of retrograde shadow on the 30th of September. Venus comes out of retrograde shadow on the 7th of October. So into that first week of October is this timeline of this recapitulation, the sorting it out, and in that time, it's this magical, mystical, multiple levels of dimensional reality happening. We want to be in that vibration of the one truth, bringing that beautiful vision of those Gaia codes into every breath, every thought, every action, every emotion, bringing it back, using our will to claim back our world right now and kind of turn the table on the corruption in the temple, which is our body in this time, and take those technological devices. We have full right to access this technology of the cloud for our purposes. So get ready. When we incarnate our light, we can also send it through the network. And so I'm so glad we're here together, Supernova Souls. This is so powerful that everything you've gone through to be here right now and step up and step into your light and your power. Know that we have been in this local area network quarantine, keeping us from feeling our guidance, keeping us from feeling each other, feeling that disconnected state. It's an illusion, a complete and total lie. We are all here right now together. You have been traveling with your intimate group of souls throughout lifetime, 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 and bigger soul groups coming together for certain purposes. There's no way we're not here right now. And we've been at this threshold place because we're learning and understanding now the power of our electromagnetic field. But the real power comes when there's two or more. That's when and then three, create a whole new reality. And that's this place we've been stuck. And it's up to us to say, wait a minute, is there an external power that dictates when and where, whether or not I can come together with my people? No, there is no power outside of you. There is no actual rightful claim on your power. And so the wheel of time is turning and nothing can stop it. And part of that is us tumbling back into each other's lives and beginning to really get to work on the work we came here to do. So don't believe the quarantine. Keep breathing into the consciousness. Maybe we could use that same cloud connection to call our soul group into our lives in real time so that we can activate this power within us. So Hang in there. It's an incredibly intense time. It's a time when we make our mark, where we stand in our power, we claim our autonomy, and we take back our world by saying yes to incarnating the higher truth of who we really are. And it does look like this Leo new moon is a vibrational vortex energy of just like, isn't that beautiful? Just pulling all the pieces of ourselves, of whatever's happened to us on a soul level, back home to be whole and complete, fully grounded here. So we take back our world. And it just simply because we're in the truth of the vibration that suits us best. That's it. That's how we do it. Be in the vibration that suits you best. Claim and demand and command that for the world around you. If they don't resonate, they're off. This is Mother Earth coming home. Her sacred centers have been corrupted, just like our body. And now we visit them and we dance and we sing and we awaken and we release the blood and we release the catastrophes and we release the genocide, release the stuck souls, and we invite the chakras of the earth to reconnect and come back online. And Mother Dragon is awakening. And she would never stand for this crap. And so the feminine stands up for all of humanity right now and says, you have defiled me again and again. And now the light is coming in and the truth is coming out. And there's a massive defrag and annihilation of the systems that have gone against the true light of humanity. This is our holy temple that we can host the Holy Spirit, and they've attempted to steal this from us. No more. So thank you so much for being here, Supernova Souls, and going through all you've gone through to be here right now. It's amazing. You're amazing that you're here, breathing, and how well you're doing. Step out of that shame and into the light that you are. And thank you so much for your support, for being brave, for listening to this, to allowing these concepts to work in you, to be a part of this shift into this incarnation of Christ consciousness, the light of God, mantle that we get to host in our field. And so thank you so much for your support, being with us, being a part of the Supernova Soul Tribe. Thanks for your donation in that way, being a part. For $10 a month, you can get a Friday video update and monthly Q&As, lots of resources for Supernova Souls. For $20 a month, that includes the full and new moon activations, as well as live sharing circles afterwards to really connect with those Supernova Soul brothers and sisters. Or if you want to offer just your energy by being here and taking up these teachings, living this truth, that's the most powerful offering. Or then there's also a button, a donation, if you'd like to make an offering that way. But it's just amazing we're here together. Supernovas, don't give up. Keep breathing and loving. You are the uncorruptible truth. It's so glorious and so beautiful. And it's going to short circuit all of the lies. So thank you so much for your service and for your love. And that you haven't, we all had to close down, but our heart is open again now. We're being brave enough to open that, crack open that heart, that cosmic consciousness, that portal, and stand in love again after everything you've gone through. It's quite honorable and an honor to be here and work with you. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon, and definitely keep in mind the power of that Leo new moon, as we are invited to fully land and incarnate as the light that we are. Thank you, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.